Hey guys, Robbo here with some Banished for you, and I'm going to start a series doing through the achievements of the game, more of the harder ones than some of the easier ones, because obviously reaching, say, 200 population or something like that isn't that difficult, but this one right here, Mountain Men, can be difficult, so we are going to be doing that. Now, this is what you can do the settings on. Let's just found. Why is that a name that you can use? Let's go with Cooderton. I like that. Randomize that a bit. You can go with these settings. Now, the strength of this is you will start with animals and a lot more resources. However, believe it or not, medium is actually easier from my experience. The reason for this is that on easy, you will get given 6 houses, I think, automatically, 5 or 6 houses. And it automatically puts them on the map, and it puts them in very bad positions for if you're trying to do this achievement. So, I would honestly recommend on medium, but if you are struggling, then go on easy. If you are going to go on easy, then do realise that you want sheep. They are the best livestock, especially for this, but they are in general. But you want sheep, so if you get cows, restart. If you get chickens, restart. But we're going to go in with the medium difficulty. Also, bear in mind, guys, if you have mods active, you cannot get achievements. So disable any of your mods, even if it is just a texture mod. It will stop you from getting the achievement. So disable them and then start. We'll randomize that a couple more times. And we will jump in. So I've done every achievement in this game, obviously. So I've got a fair amount of experience, shall we say. And this was actually I think this was the last achievement I did. Other than the wells, building 20 wells, I think that was the last one I actually did. So, bring all this stuff up. First thing you want to do, guys, and this is for any game, go to your resource limits and just put a bunch of 9s in front of it. Because if you don't, when your population reaches, so let's say food, it gets 5,000. Once you hit 5,000, it will not let you collect anymore. So you obviously don't want that happening. But let's see, this is the map. And this is quite a nice map, actually. The river isn't destroying too much. We've not got too many little lakes. Nice big open area there. Smaller area there. There's plenty of room for the nodes to be built. So that's pretty nice. Very, very nice, actually. There's even some good room for some trading here at some point. Okay, that's good. That's good. The first thing we're going to do is not this. So, it doesn't matter what you have in there. Do not rely on farming for this achievement, because the weather is harsh and you will get early frosts, or you'll get early frosts in the year and early winters as well. And it is very rare that there's not many of the crops you can get that will actually survive, so it's just not worth it. What you want to do instead is basically use this as your starting hub and your first node. Now, when I say a node, I mean, you can call it what you like. I just call it a node because it's what I've gone by for so long. But basically, these are a set of buildings that get you all your resources, and they certainly will for the time being. Now these are the Forester's Lodge, the Herbalist, the Hunter's Cabin, and the Gatherer's Hut. Now this isn't... If there's one weakness that we have for this start, we haven't got the best position for our starting area, as in where this started. So if it started about here, it would be much better. I could have started building there, but because I'd have to clear all that terrain as well, there's really not the time for it. So, time is really, really in short supply in the Mountain Man achievement. So, you can't really spend time building up a new area. You've got to jump straight in and get it built. Now, how are we going to build up the houses? We need... What have we got? 10 adults, 8 children, so... Let's see, if we divide that... If we get 4 houses done, that should be able to house them all. And we'll just do that for that. We will need another... I'm not sure where to... I might put it here, actually, because that just fills a gap. You do need another storage pile, because this one's nearly full. So, I'm just not sure where to put it, because I've really been restricted. This being here and the river being here really restricted how I could actually start my deployment. But I'm pretty happy with this. Let's... get rid of all the stone and iron in the area. You gotta be really careful with how you use these. Especially the stone, because until you trade, you won't really have any access to more. Iron is different, because I will always advise people to buy a mine, just to keep your iron reserves going. Also, because we're in a really good position to put it down, we're going to stick a fishing dock here. I do like fishing docks. They're not as good as when the game first released, because when it first released, they were ridiculously broken. Right, non-essentials for the first year. We can afford to not build that. We can afford to not build that. And we need all of you building. Actually, one of you can just be gathering resources, so... It's really hard to prioritize what to build first. We've got food, so I think getting the houses built so that people don't freeze to death is probably a good idea. So let's just shoot this into times 10 mode. Of course, go and build all the paths first, because that's important. Rather than building the frickin' houses. We are at least getting some resources off the map, so that is something at least. They do build incredibly fast when you prioritize them onto something, so just get those 2 houses built. Should... It's not going to solve our housing problem, actually. That's quite worrying. How's there so many people without houses? And we're out of wood, wonderful. Right, you need to farm up all of this. Get one of you in there. We'll get the woodcutter going as well, I've got to. Build this house, please. Here's the thing, if you survive the first 2 years, you're going to be fine. Which is the same with any playthrough. If you die, you are most likely to die in the first 4 or 5 years are when you're most likely to die early on, and then later on, when your population starts growing, you're likely to die at nearly every year, just because you can easily cock up with building too many houses too quickly. So, yeah, that's always something to be cautious of. Please build that. Everybody's got a house now. We're good. We're looking solid, guys. We're looking solid. Please finish building that. Come on, 2 more. Nice, there we go. Alright, once that's built, we will basically be spending about 2 years doing next to nothing. Yes, I know that doesn't sound very thrilling, but that's kind of how you've got to play it. You can rush it, and that can work, but playing slower guarantees that it will. It will take a while to get to 50, because that's the thing, it's not just getting to 50, it's sustaining it, and that's the hard part, because really you have to then get to at least 55, I say, because that compensates for any deaths that can happen. Quite worrying how some of these people die. I've literally had ones die to an axe to the head. So, I mean, there are murderers running around in this game, and you can't do anything about them. Which I find a little terrifying, in all honesty. We're running low on food, which isn't good, but it's kind of par for the course, especially because we don't have a lot of forestry here. I should have cut down some of the trees over here, but I was kind of panicking a bit. Also, we don't need any more wood, any firewood for the time being. This is why getting the fishing dock done could be quite useful, because even if it's only providing a few hundred, because they usually do. When fishing docks came out, they could produce up to 3,000 res for 4 people, which was insane. There was a great map on the game where you could basically, on your starting area, have about 8 fishing docks and you'd never lose to starvation. Then they nerfed the ever-loving crap out of fishing lodges and they were crap, so they can be good still. I've had ones get 1,500, but it seems very random, so I don't use them in general. But there's no harm in having one in this scenario, so let's do a bit more deforestation over here. Cut down them, because we need these people to be out and about pulling their weight. The worst part about the Mountain Man achievement is, like I say, people make it harder for themselves than it needs to be, but the common problem people have is they think that they can rely on crop fields like they can in regular plays. You can't. Crop fields are really good on regular maps in regular weather conditions, but being on harsh and mountain, you just cannot use them. Also, we need to build another house. Kind of want to build a another storage lodge there, so let's just do that. This is the ideal way, I say, to do this achievement. You can play it a bit more like a normal village, but building out from a single sort of area like this is just safer. And as you've already established, I think, from this, when it comes to achievements in some of the more difficult ones like this, safety is priority for me. Alright, just need to finish building that, and then we will have ourselves 4 fishermen. I've only got 1 forester going at the minute, because I'm not really sure how much more foresters actually help. Especially at this point where you don't have a lot of people. You want everyone you can get working in your food producing ones. So that's why we've got this. And we're already producing some fish, so that's nice. This is off to a good start. I like this. I probably won't play too... I might do, depends. I'll get it going. I'll probably do the first 5 years or something like that. But as you can see, we're already up to 22 people. And we're still only on our first little batch of buildings, so clear out that area as well. Clear it all out. By the way, you won't be building schools in this, for the simple reason that schools really don't do anything for you. You will need this herbalist going though. You only need about 2 herbalists in the entire map, because your population isn't going to be very high. So we are making some nice leather as well, because obviously eventually clothes will have to be something we look at investing in as well. Unfortunately, at the minute, you see, this is what I was saying about for the first few years, you literally do next to nothing, because it takes a while for you to gather the resources needed to push on further, because when you move on to the next area, you need to be able to produce, you need a storage barn, you need to build your 2 resource for food, your gatherer's hut and your hunter's cabin, and you need to be able to buy a forester's lodge. Now that's a lot to sort of try and build at once, so this is nice. It's the sort of woodland is growing up pretty quick. You see, that's a decent amount of fish that it's providing, so it's not providing enough to feed them, but it's still putting out quite a huge amount. That's doing a great job, and this, I mean, this is doing well considering it relies on the forest around it, so all things considered, it's doing very well. And yeah, this is, like I say, this is the thing with doing Mountain Man. You can't rely on your quick fit crop fields, because these are good. These will get you about 600 a year on a proper sized map with proper weather conditions, depending upon which crops you get. Out of curiosity, what crops did we get this time? Potato and bean. Wow, we got beans. Beans are pretty much the best thing you can get, so that's actually kind of disappointing that I can't use it. Beans are great because I think you harvest them really early. They have a really quick growth, but they're very frail from what I remember, so frost can kill them, and that's the worry. But that's the payoff. You harvest them really early so you guys can go off and do other stuff, but if there's an early frost, then it kills them all. We need to start building our second storage barn up, because this... Oh no, storage for logs. Sorry, my bad. Not that. You can build that anyway. Oh, well, we actually do need to look at building... Just build that. It's not as easy to justify. I usually like using big sort of 10 by 10 ones, but you just can't do that on these tiny maps. To be fair, I actually have a lot more fun playing this game on the tiny maps. I think they're a lot more interesting to do because you've got less to work with. So it really pushes you. You can stop making firewood for the time being, Mr. Woodcutter. That's another thing you've got to really do, especially on sort of this. It's micromanage your people. Now, we're okay, we've got some spare people that we can throw into other things if we need to, so I'm actually going to throw another person into the Forester's Lodge. But I don't need a lot of firewood. I need to start gathering more sort of logs, so that is why we've stopped the woodcutter. Now, the woodcutter is very important later on, as he is in a normal playthrough, because firewood is the best resource to trade, pretty much. There is an argument for ale, because you can get quite a bit from that from the right traders, but it's a bit of a faff to make. Plus, it takes you need food to make ale, and then you trade the ale to get some food back. And I don't know. I don't personally use ale to trade much because your people also drink it because they want to be happy. So you're kind of battling against the game to actually get any ale gathered, built up to trade, so I don't bother with it. Firewood is more than sufficient, and wow, that the firewood situation suddenly tanked, but it's winter, so it should. This is actually gonna run slower sooner. I mean, it won't in this, but once you hit about... It'll be about 700 on a normal map, is when the game will start to slow down solely because of stuff like this, and the fact there's just 800 people running around on the map. If you take the smoke effects off, you can usually postpone the lagging until about 1,000. Also, look at our food income. That is looking pretty nice. Now, can you please build this? Stick your logs in the house. We need to build the houses up. Getting a bit cramped, and we're not getting many new kids. That's the problem. That's another thing you got to micromanage your population. You have to keep a real eye on it. Now, this is pretty much done. This area is done now. As soon as we get this. We do need to start looking at making a tailor soon as well, don't we? That's the thing. Don't really want to impede on that area anymore, so what we're going to do is we could use this little part here later on to build up stuff like that. But I think it's about time I can actually start building up now. When they cross over, it doesn't really... it's not a great idea, because it just means they're both trying to take resources from that same area, so I'd say not ideal, but in this map you can't really do too much about it. You're going to have them overlapping. So we're going to actually put you there. Change of plan, we're not going to use that area up there to... Whoop, I just changed the camera angle. I did not mean to do that. I meant to rotate this. Can we just clear out this little area? You can build the things if you want. I don't really care. Let's just see. Where does this go? That's a bit awkward. Okay, what if we do go with the tailor here? Stretch the road out a little bit more just because I want to... I like getting everything so it's sort of lined up in a way. So basically it'll go along here and then meet up down here somewhere. And then we'll put... We don't need tools at the minute. We don't need tools at the minute. Now we're not going to build any more houses yet. I don't think, just because we... I don't like keeping them all cooped up like that, that's the problem. Right, we don't need you there yet, so what we're going to do is put that to there, and that to there. So this means that this is now connected to that, basically. It just means that they can move between the places a little bit faster. And what I'm going to do is that... I'm going to have a giant stockpile there, I think, just to... So we've got somewhere to put all the resources we're going to be gathering. Being a gathering, there's a gatherer's hut. And... see how many houses we can get. Stone houses are good, but you're not going to be making enough stone to make it worth your while focusing on them. So I'm actually going to put the hunter's cabin... Awkward, awkward, awkward. Put it up this way, but it's really far away from the storage bin. That is not good. Also, I keep forgetting this is one bigger than the Gatherer's Hut, which is really weird. It's just randomly one bigger. Right, we're going to put that there, and then we will put a house facing it. That should be... okay, we need to get that increased in priority. And look at those numbers, ladies and gentlemen. And there we go. We are basically set. That's the truth. We are basically set up now for the end game. We're gonna Avengers this shit. Now from here, it'll just be a case of building more little pockets like this. We do need to get that built soon, because we need to start making clothes. We've not got a lot in the bank. We've only got 2 left now. Let's just pump the rest of these people into building, apart from one, just to cover for any deaths. There's plenty of places on this map to put mines on. I really do recommend mines, not these. Quarries take up way too much space. And because they take up open space, that really cripples it. Whereas this, you know, it takes up a little bit of open space, but not much that you're going to use. So I'd recommend mines, and if you need stone, trade for it. and you trade your firewood, because you're going to be making a lot of it even with just a few people cutting. I have to say, this is actually quite nice looking. I like this. I wasn't sure to begin with, but it's growing on me. This, if you look from above, it actually looks like a really nice city. Nice little path there. It's a shame that so much of this map is just this. Like, I reckon I could get a pretty high population on this map, in all honesty. Decent area there. Very good couple of areas here. Good area over here. Good one up there still. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of potential with this map, so I'd honestly go back to the start of this video and screenshot the map seed, and I'd use it, because I think you could really do well with it. But yeah, like I say, micromanage the crap out of all of this, especially early on. Now it's not so bad, we are doing pretty well. I could make some tools, but I kind of want to keep a stockpile there, and we need to start building all this stuff up. In fact, let's prioritize these 3 houses if we can, people. Would you kindly, please? Would you kindly? Okay. Because then we can get people moving. We've got over 1,000 food in the bank, so we're looking pretty good, because it's the start of the year as well, so that's really nice. We're in year 4. We're actually looking really good for year 4. On this, sort of on a harsh mountain small map, so I am very happy with how this has started. If you're watching, I hope this is helping. Banished is a great game to play. It's a great time killer, especially in the current times where, you know, you may sort of be forced to stay at home for extended periods. Pick this up. It's cheap and it's a lot of fun. And it's just something where you have it in the background, you just keep an eye on it. Like, I put this on in the background and I'll be playing Dokkan on my tablet. While I just flip my eyes back to this every few minutes to see how everybody's doing. Alright, now that they've been built, build these. Again, micromanaging. Very important at this stage on this. On a bigger map, not so much, but on this it is. I needed to build the new houses so that people could move into there to make more babies. And get the population up. Now I need these 2 to be built so we can chuck people in them to start working on them. I need a bit of a baby boom, because the problem you have is when all of your first batch of people, even, I mean, the youngest one, or the oldest ones I should say, were only in their late 20s, so this isn't a problem for now, but when they hit the barrier, you will have basically 2 years where you'll lose about 10 plus people. Which, obviously, when you're going for an achievement which involves you keeping a population of 50 or above for 20 years consecutively, is not something you want. Right, we'll chuck the rest of you onto that while this gets finished. Why is nobody finishing that? Alright, 2 people have moved into there. That's the thing. Unless you tell them, they will halve their efforts. So half are in this and half are in the other. If you move that down, it'll move the amount of people. So it will always give more people to the one with more sort of citizens that are allowed to work there. This is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. Food is looking a bit dicey, but that's solely because we went through a few months of not having these 2. Not having these 2 built really crippled our food income, so that's a big... It's not a big concern. It's not a big concern, actually. We'll get 3 of them because they get us more leather as well for our clothing. And gotta say, where's our worker for this? Evan, you are doing a fantastic job in the tailors. Keep up the good work, my friend. He's educated, that's why. That's the big question mark. Do you do schools? You can do. I'm not going to say don't, but I don't personally use them in this. Because you've got such a small population, and a school is a relatively... I mean, if you look, it's a reasonable size. It's bigger than a storage barn. So, you know, that's a lot of space on the map that you're losing for a school, but it does make them better at their jobs. So, I don't know. It's personal preference. I have built them before, but only after I've done the achievement. Because then I'm like, okay, now I'm looking to the future. But for now, all we're concerned about is hitting 50 people and then keeping them alive for 20 years. Which isn't difficult. As soon as we hit the number, like I say, we're in the clear pretty much now. Once that's built, we'll build up the woodcutter, because then we'll have 2 running. And then it will be a case of just leaving it to run again for a little while. This is probably the biggest weakness of the game, especially when you're doing ones like this on a smaller map. There's long periods of time where you really can't do anything. Like, all you can really do is watch and hope that they don't mess up somehow. Also, yes, I'm doing this with disasters off. I play in general with disasters off because it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how good your village is. If a tornado decides it wants to spawn and trash through half of it, you're screwed. And to be honest, I ain't got time for tornadoes to be destroying half my stuff, or a fire to start in the one place where I don't have a well to put the fire out. So I've stopped playing with disasters on. It's just irritating, in all honesty. Alright, we need to finish building that so we can have a second woodcutter going. We ran out because we had one person providing for quite a lot of houses now. There's what? 1, 7, 10. He was providing for 10 houses. One woodcutter can't do that, so it's no surprise that we ran out, but it's okay. We've got decent clothing, so... Oh, we're not losing... Wait, where are you? Oh, you are working. Okay, I was worried that you got stranded somewhere. Because we weren't going down in leather at all, but... apparently we're good. Alright, you can stop doing that now and you can join in on that. Alright, this is looking good. Looking nice. How has this been doing? 554 is pretty good for a fishing dock. It's actually making its money back. You need 100 per citizen for the year. So, you know, that's made 100 each and it's got 150 left over. So, worth it. Definitely worth it. You could pepper the map with these, in all honesty, later on. Which I may do if I'm pushing this to be quite a large city. The shame is that you can't really use some of the buildings, like the market. I'm a big fan of markets in usual gameplay. They're really good at moving your resources around. And it means that your people are actually doing their jobs rather than running to the various buildings to get the resources. But if you look at the space, you know, that is a very, very big amount of space to be sacrificing on this map. Same with the town hall. I like the town hall because it lets me track everything a bit better. And you can let nomads in, but it's too big. I mean, it's a stretch to put a hospital in. Also, if you build a chapel, I can't help you. There's literally no reason to build a chapel apart from the one achievement. These suck. They are useless. Same with graveyards, really. Another one, you want it for the achievement. There's really no other use for a cemetery. All it's going to do is take up a bunch of your stone. And ain't nobody got time for that. Let's look at building a blacksmith. Where are we going to put you? We could just... that's a tailor. We have a tailor. Actually, let's put it opposite that. I thought about putting it there, but if I want to keep adding stuff along the coastline, I want to have various routes that we can get to it. So 33% full, none percent. Okay, we're good on storage barns now. We've got 4 of them, so we should be able to move resources around pretty nice. And we've got enough people to max out everything in the gatherer's hut now. So we're going to be making a lot of food. Plus, we've got 3 labourers left over. You know what I do need to do is this, actually. Now, this is something you should all do definitely early on. And that's make a bridge to various areas. Because your people are stupid. And they will get themselves somehow, they will magically teleport on the other side of the damn stream. And they will get trapped, but they can't get back. Which is why we build these little bits. Kind of sucks having to use stone for that, but, you know, it's better than the alternative. Which is, you know, death. That's a shame. That would have been quite nice, actually. Let's put that there. I don't like wasting stone, but I've got to do that to make sure we don't actually lose people stupidly. The amount of people I've lost from them getting stranded is ridiculous, and I don't know how they got stranded. The worst ones are when they get trapped behind your buildings somehow. I don't know how they manage it. I really don't. I'm quite impressed with how some of these guys find ways to kill themselves. I mean, I know that very soon you're getting into incest. Maybe that's bothering them and they just want to die, but I don't know. Also, you can tell that I'm running out of things to say about this, but all you can keep doing at this point is carrying on. I mean, we're at year 5 with a population of 42. So I reckon by year 10 you could easily get to 50, and then you're just looking for 20 years after that. I think what I will do, as we're at the end of winter as well, we're about to hit year 6, I'm going to pause it there. I will save this up, and if people want to see me finish this to show off the entire the entire Mountain Man achievement, then say so, because I'll do it, because it's set up for me. It's done. Like, all I have to do after this is move and build another one down here and possibly some stuff over here. And I'll have my 50. It's easy as that. We've still got houses to build after all. But yeah, I will happily continue it. So I hope this has helped. Like I say, use this map seed, follow this guide. It should happen relatively the same to you. And you should be getting your Mountain Man achievement in no time at all. It's not as hard as it sounds, it really isn't. You've just got to have the right setup, and you've just got to properly manage your workers. But anyway, thank you for watching this guide on Banished. If there's any other achievements you want to see me accomplish, and have guides on how to do them, then say below. I will gladly do them, because I love this game. I love Banished, it's fantastic. I have spent over 1,000 hours in this game, I think, now. Because I just love it. It's so much fun to just have it running in the background. And you don't have to put a huge amount of thought into it. It's just nice to casually do it. Yeah, the first few years are pretty intense, but after that you can sit back a bit. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope this guide has helped you. And I'll see you all next time.